Welcome to the 2.7 Inequality Basics notes. So basically, inequalities are like equations, but instead of using an equal sign, it uses either a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to symbol. And these two are the same thing as saying at most or at least. That's why that's in parentheses. Less than is the same thing as fewer than. Greater than is the same thing as more than. So, what we're going to start off with is determining if something is a solution. So we did this with equations as well. When you want to know if something is a solution to either an equation or an inequality, you're going to take that number and plug it on in for x. That makes this left side negative 4 plus 8. What is negative 4 plus 8? Well, it's 4. And then you keep this part over here that was already there. So basically, this is saying that 4 is less than negative 3. 4 is not less than negative 3, so our answer is no. Same idea on the next question. You're taking negative 8. You are plugging it in for x right here. And negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. And then you keep the less than or equal to negative 3. And this is saying that negative 6 is less than or equal to negative 3. It is less than negative 3, so our answer is yes. Keep in mind here that negative 6 is less than negative 3. Negative numbers get bigger as they get smaller. I know it's kind of confusing. But an easy way to think of it is, would you rather have negative $3 or negative $6? I for sure would rather owe 3 instead of 6, so negative 3 is indeed the bigger number here. Unlike equations which have very specific answers, inequalities have intervals that include many solutions. For example, if we wanted this to be less than negative 3, there are a ton of numbers less than negative 3, not just one. So let's talk about the properties of inequality. This is how you solve them. For instance, over here, we want to get x by itself. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. These 3's cancel, and 5 plus 3 is 8. What we've done is we've solved this inequality so that x is the only thing over here by itself. And since the opposite of subtraction is addition, this is called the addition property of equality because you're doing it on both sides of it in inequality. Then you're going to bring 8 on down. We're going to go ahead and write 7, 8, 9, just so we get a number at least on each side. If this symbol has the little line underneath, that means that it is or equals to. That's what the little line means. If it has one of those, we're going to draw a closed circle like this. And then the little arrow right here tells us which direction to go. If you notice, it's sort of like pointing us to the right. So that's what direction we go. So solutions to this would be like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Like I said, there are many solutions. If this did not have the little line underneath and it was just less than or greater than, we use an open circle. Okay, let's talk about the next property of inequality, subtraction. Since we have addition here, we're going to subtract the 4 to get x all by itself. Remember that you are doing the opposite to get the variable alone. The inequality symbol stays the same, and negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. So we get x is less than negative 7. Go ahead and put your number line down. We know we want negative 7 in the middle, and the way that negative numbers work is backwards from positive numbers. So negative 8 actually goes on the left, and negative 6 actually goes on the right. Negative 8, negative 7, negative 6. You're gaining $1 back each time you move to the right. Since there's no or equal to, we're going to draw an open circle. And you'll see that it's kind of pointing us to the left. So we're going to go to the left. And any numbers this direction of -7 are answers. So -8, -9, -10, -11, those are all less than -7. Now let's talk multiplication. You'll notice that this is dividing by 3. The opposite of it, dividing by 3, is multiplying by 3 on both sides. Over here, 3 divided by 3 is 1. We just don't always write that 1 in front of x. Instead, we just write x. Keep this symbol in between. And -4 times 3 is -12. I'm going to put -12 on my number line and add in numbers that surround it, so -13 and -11. Since there's no little line underneath, we're going to put an open circle. And it's pointing us to the left again, so we're going to go to the left. If there is a number in front of x, remember that that is multiplication. So to get rid of multiplication, we divide by the number in front to get rid of it. That 5 divided by 5 is 1, or 1x. -15 divided by 5 is -3. Keep the same symbol in between. That leaves -3 in the middle, -4 on the left, -2 on the right. We want a closed circle this time because it's or equals to. That's what this little line means. And then it's pointing us to the right, so we shade to the right. There is a special rule you have to look out for with inequalities, and that special rule is if you multiply or divide by a negative number, then you must flip the symbol. So one thing that you'll notice on this one is there's a negative number down here. So to get rid of the division, we multiply by -3. And -3 divided by -3 is 1, so I have 1x. And over here, -4 times -3 is 12. Since I multiplied by a negative number, -3, the symbol flips the other way. But be careful, because it's not any time you see a negative. Like up here, I was multiplying and there was a negative involved, but I was multiplying by 3, not -3. So up here, it didn't have to flip. Down here, it does have to flip. Now this is +12. Most people know that a number line goes 11, 12, 13. It's the positives that go the normal direction. Since there's no or equals to, we're going to keep this open. And since we've flipped it, it's going to go to the right. Over here, I need to divide by this number in front of x. It is being multiplied, so I divide by -5 on both sides. -5 divided by -5 is 1x. Flip that symbol. -15 divided by -5 is 3. So on both of these, you have to do a flipperoo. Now up here, look at what number I divided by. 5. So you don't have to flip it if you divide by a +5. Even though there was a negative, that's not the number I'm dividing by. So then I'm going to put 2, 3, 4. So I want 3 to be in the middle. I'm going to draw my closed circle and shade to the left. So my answers here could be like 0, 1, or 2. It could even include 3 as long as it's a closed circle. Now let's talk about the word problem. A circuit overloads at 1800 watts of electricity. You plug a 1110 watt microwave into the circuit. Write and solve an inequality that represents how many watts you can add to without overloading the circuit. So you already have this many, and you're adding X, and you don't want to overload it, so it has to stay less than 1800. We can't even be equal to it because it overloads at 1800, so that's where you have issues. And it says write and solve, so we're going to subtract this 1110. 1800 minus 1110 is 690. So X has to be less than 690, like 680, 670, all good, but not 700. In addition to the microwave, which appliances can you plug in at the same time? So we have to keep these under 690. So we could do the clock radio because it's only 50, and we could do the blender because it's 300. But 1200 and 800 are both too many. It's not less than 690. So those are the only two. So it's just a matter of interpreting what it means. Anything below 690 would be okay here. And then part C says you switch to a microwave that uses 1000 watts. So you can have 1000 plus, can you run it at the same time as the toaster? Toaster is 800. Together that adds up to exactly 1800, or that 1800. Is that less than 1800 though? Nope. Because it's just less than, not less than or equal to. One last thing before we finish. Back here, when it says 3 solutions, what it wants you to do is list 3 solutions for me. I'm going to pick one of the ones with a negative. You're going to have to flip the symbol when you divide by -2 on, let's see, this would be number 4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one as my example. Then that leaves you with X, flip the symbol the other way, and -10 divided by -2 is 5. So I'm going to put 4, 5, 6 here in the middle, closed circle to the right, because that's what direction it's pointing me to. So my solutions could be 5, since I have a closed circle, or 6, or if I kept going, 7, or 8, or 9, or 10. You just pick 3 numbers that you know are bigger, greater than, or equal to 5.